We're just 10 days away from the general election and the political arena is increasingly heating up. A very good evening to you. Welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandra Ferdinando.
And I'm Amina Mustafa. Let's start off with a look at the headlines for tonight.
President says that it is the voters' responsibility to elect untainted persons to Parliament. Elections Commission advises the police to strictly enforce the election law.
ඡන්ද පොලේදී ඡන්ද පෙට්ටියක් අරගෙන යන්දාව. බොරුම බලය යොදන්න පුළුවන් එකේ කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ.
Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa writes to the Elections Commissioner over the transfer of a police officer from Kottawa by violating election laws. Power should be granted to the one who lets go of power, a statement from WJM Lokubandara.
අතාරින්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. අතාරින්න බැරි කෙනෙකුට පදවියක් දිය යුතු නොවේ.
Speaking at an event at the Bandara Nayaka Memorial International Conference Hall today, President Maithripala Sirisena emphasized on the responsibilities of the voters.
The event was held to unveil a compilation of transcripts of the speeches made in Parliament, the Human Rights Council and the United Nations sessions by State Minister of Finance Mahinda Samarsinghe. The English copy of the book, The Sri Lankan Image in the International Forum, was presented to President Maithripala Sirisena at the event.
විවිධ සංස්කෘතික අයිතිවාසිකම් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන විවිධ ජනතාවක් අපේ රටේ ඉන්නවා.
There are various communities in our country that live their own identity. We can only build a Sri Lankan identity if we protect them. I believe that a president and a people's leader who possesses all the qualities to take forward this program has been created in the country.
සියලුම සුදුසුකම් තියෙන ජනනායකයෙක් ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් අද අපේ රටේ බිහි වෙලා තියෙනවා.
ජනාධිපතිතුමාණෙනි මම පුදුමයටපත් වුණා. ජනාධිපති ධුරයටපත් වුණාම
I was surprised when the president was elected. He said that he does not need 6 years but only 4 years. This was at a time when someone wanted to remain as president forever. They are trying to create heirs. In a country like that, we have a leader who only wanted 4 years and not 6. Now there is an attempt to remain in parliament for another 5 years. They need to let go of it. People who fail to do so must not be given any position.
අතාරින්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. අතාරින්න බැරි කෙනෙකුට පදවියක් දිය යුතු නොවේ.
බොහෝ වෙලාවට දේශපාලඥයින් සිය ප්‍රතිරූපය
Sometime a politician ruins his own image through the acts that he commits. Therefore, a public opinion was created over the past decade that proper persons are required to enter politics in this country. The voters have a responsibility to elect suitable persons to parliament no matter from what party they contest. This is the voters' responsibility.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට කුමන දේශපාලන පක්ෂයෙන් එව්වත් ඒ තනතුරට සුදුසු පුජ්‍යලයින් තෝරලා Tamange කතිරේ ගැසීම පිළිබඳව Tamange වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කිරීම පිළිබඳව
The Secretary to the Ministry of Posts has been removed from his position upon the directive of the President. The President had taken the decision after taking into account a complaint made by the Elections Commissioner and a recommendation. The President's Media Division said that the Secretary to the Ministry has been moved to the Ministry of Public Administration and the additional Secretary to the Ministry of Posts will serve as the acting Secretary of the Ministry.
Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa has written a letter to the Elections Commissioner citing the transfer of a police officer which had taken place in violation of election laws.
The letter adds that Sub-Inspector of the Kottawa Police, C.T. Galagedra, who worked towards preventing the spread of drugs in Kottawa and Maragama, had been transferred to the Mirana Police during the election period. The letter adds that the police officer had taken efficient measures to apprehend drug peddlers and produce them in court. Vijaydas Rajapaksa notes that information has come to light that this transfer was made as a condition imposed by criminals connected to the drug trade in order to support a certain politician. He adds that during the recent year, the drug trade has seen an increase in the Maragama electorate and the Maragama and Kottawa police operated in a very tepid manner. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa goes on to say that it is not a secret that the former OIC of Maragama was one who had close relations with persons engaged in drug peddling. The letter goes on to request the Inspector General of Police to appoint more efficient and honest officers to the posts of OIC to the Maragama and Kottava police stations. The Minister of Justice requests the Elections Commissioner to order the IGP to immediately cancel the transfer of this officer who had worked towards preventing the spread of drugs.
Deputy Minister of Justice Sujiva Senasinghe, in a letter to the Election Commissioner, says that police officers are obstructing his election campaigns. The Deputy Minister says that he considers this situation as a threat to his life.
In a letter addressed to the Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya, Deputy Minister Sujiva Senasinghe says that on a previous occasion, a police officer under the influence of alcohol had obstructed his election campaign activities and had caused defamation to him by making false allegations. The Deputy Minister also says that when he was engaged in election campaigning in Colombo yesterday, a group of 15 police officers in a jeep had arrived at several locations and recorded footage and taken photographs. Senasinghe adds that this is an attempt to highlight that the vehicles travelling on the road were accompanying him. In his letter, Senasinghe goes on to say that it appears that such malicious acts are taking place over a statement made regarding the Inspector General of Police. Deputy Minister of Justice Sujiva Senasinghe requests the Elections Commissioner to immediately look into this and inform the Inspector General of Police.
Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya, together with officials from the Human Rights Commission, attended an awareness campaign organised for the police officers in the northwestern province.
We should not fear for anything. We have not made any amends nor abolished the orders that were issued for the previous election. Police officers don't need to be restricted to minimum force. If anyone come to take away the ballot box, the police can use maximum force. There's no issue with that. This is done for the legislature. If there are obstructions for that, maximum force can be used when required. Our responsibility is to operate casting aside any difference and not cause any inconvenience.
Meanwhile, an individual who was attending a meeting of UPFA Kurunagar district candidate Mahinda Rajapaksa in the Nikabava area has been arrested. Police said that the suspect was arrested for indecent behavior.
Police said that the individual in question was arrested for behaving in an indecent manner when Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the rally this evening. The individual who was arrested was a resident from the Yaya 6 area in Rajanganaya. Police said that he will be produced in court tomorrow.
The enjoining order that was issued preventing the Central Working Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party from convening without the approval of party chairman Maithripala Sirisena was extended until the 24th of August. The extension of the enjoining order was made when the complaint in this regard was taken up before Colombo District Court Judge Harsha Setunga.
Prasanna Solangarachi, who is contesting under the SLFP ticket from the Colombo district, filed this complaint. In his complaint, Solangarachi cites that members of the Central Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party had attempted to convene the Central Committee without the approval of the party chairman. In his complaint, Solangarachi requested court to issue an enjoining order preventing the convening of the Central Committee. As a result, the enjoining order was extended for a third time today.
Now, speaking at the Global Management Accounting Summit 2015 recently, President Maithripala Sirisena stressed on how financial and accounting fraud should be wiped out in order to achieve good governance.
We frequently hear of accounting frauds and corrupt practices. Therefore, the management of finance and cost control are areas which need to be strengthened and has to go hand in hand with accountability and good governance. We should take all actions to wipe out financial and accounting frauds and ensure the government, the investors and the people receive correct financial information. To our Sri Lankan professionals and business community and friends, a new opportunity has come your way and you should make good use of this opportunity, always keeping the public interest in mind. I invite all our foreign friends to use this opportunity to visit the beautiful sites in our country and enjoy the warmth and friendliness of our people.
The Global Management Accountant Summit 2015 was held recently under the theme Business Resilience through Integrated Reporting and saw the participation of many distinguished personnel. MTV and Sirasa TV were the electronic media partners at the summit.
Speaking in Darnegala this morning, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commented on the tea industry.
What has happened to the tea industry? The shipments to Russia and Ukraine increased since that is where his relative Udayanga Veeratunga lived. What we need to ask is whether this was the development of the tea industry or was this the development of the businesses of certain individuals. They lost the GSP Plus concessions that we had. If they had retained the GSP Plus concession that increases the value of these tea packets, we would not be facing this problem today. We are now stuck in this dilemma. We have spoken with the United States, and since they have relaxed sanctions on Iran, I would like to say that once the sanctions are removed, we will recommence exporting tea to Iran.
Meanwhile, UPFA Kurunagar district candidate Mahinda Rajapaksa addressed a public rally in the Nikababa area in Galgamuwa today.
Cabinet has been presented with another proposal for an expressway. They say that I swindled money and the cost would have been a fraction of what was spent. They say that I had spent 5 times or 6 times the actual cost. However, persons who accused of high costs have signed the Central Expressway for 75 billion. The cost of a kilometre is over 4 billion. They called me a thief. I asked this from them. They stole from the central bank. They stole from the poor man and are now stealing from the construction of roads.
A public rally of the JVP took place in Anuradhapura yesterday under the auspices of party leader Anura Kumar Disanayaka.
The Port Authority spends to the stage. Posters are pasted by the CPC and it is the CEB that goes canvassing. The economic development officials go door to door. The SLFE has not carried a proper election for 20 years. Elections were carried out courtesy of the government. The election campaign is done by the SLFE for the first time. Where is Mahinda Rajapaksa's election manifesto? The manifesto says that firstly, after he comes into power, he will take steps to dissolve the Financial Crimes Investigation Division. Not only will he dissolve the FCIT, but he will also take punitive measures against those who work there. The thief should be punished, but now the thief is attempting to come to power and punish the officers.
UNP Hambantota district candidate Sajith Premadasa participated at a public rally in the Katun area yesterday.
We in the United National Party are not dishonest persons. Just because Mahinda Rajapaksa created the Hambantota port and the Mattala airport, we will not let them be defunct. I wish to say that we pledge to transform these failed ports and airports that were built by Mahinda Rajapaksa obtaining loans at high interest rates into ones where vessels and flights would arrive. We are committed to that.
This meeting took place as another addition to the series of United National Party meetings taking place in the Hambantota district.
Leader of the Democratic Party Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca attended a public rally in the Kiran area in Ampara.
In the past 50 to 60 years, not a single political party in this country served the people in an honest manner. Ask your conscience and you will know if I am speaking the truth or not. Politicians only work for those who support them and work for them. It is to change this political culture that we launched this new political revolution. The door to this revolution is open to anyone of any race and religion.
Leader of the People's National United Front for Good Governance, Susil Kindalpiti, addressed the public at a gathering in the Serpentine Road floods in Borella yesterday.
Susil Kindalpiti informed the public about the party policies and later addressed the gathering.
Now there are the thieves of the thieves. The UNP does not have good characters. We will expose the people with bad character. When you look at Mahinda Rajapaksa's faithfuls, you will notice them as thieves who robbed coconuts from the next door neighbor. They are white-collar thieves. Should we allow thieves forming a government? Or should we at least take steps to vote in a group of people to parliament who would control these thieves and defeat them? That is where the need arises. If not, we cannot stop the flow of old thieves back into parliament.
Commissioner General Prisons Rohana Pushpakumara says that security has been tightened at prisons as information has come to light that imprisoned underworld members may be involved in incidents that take place in Colombo and its suburbs. He added that this special security measure was taken after 2 mobile phones were recovered from the prison cell of a suspect identified as Dematogoda Chaminda, who is incidentally a member of a criminal gang.
Pushpakumara went on to say that the superintendent of the Colombo remand prison was also transferred with immediate effect.
We searched the cells of inmates in segregated housing and discovered 4 mobile phones. As a result of this investigation, we wanted to make efficient the process, so we decided to make administrative changes. The superintendent of the Colombo remand prison was transferred to the prison headquarters, while an assistant superintendent at the Valikada prison was moved to the Colombo remand prison as the superintendent.
These were the views that were expressed on the political stage.
We only need to take a simple decision. On one hand is former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and on the other hand is Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is vying for the prime ministerial position. We need to compare when choosing the correct person. They sent China sat from Sri Lanka, but even NASA doesn't know about what happened to it. When their children were sending satellites, Chandrika came from England, formed an alliance and sent their father home. The reason for the defeat is not the setback in the service rendered by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. It is the government minister's misconduct that led to the defeat. After the 2010 presidential election, many believe that Mahinda Rajapaksa is undefeatable. They thought he was immortal. What happened? He started the family rule. He covered the country like an octopus. Be prepared to create our government. That government will be a strong one. We will rectify the mistakes and move forward. And we will not carry the mistakes forward.
What did Mahinda Rajapaksa do like what is mentioned on this? The former ministers do not want to accept it. They do not want to accept the development nor relief to the women. You cannot deceive the people forever. In 2001, they said that they will give bracelets and gum and other things and came into power. Today, Ranil Wickremesinghe's government speaks of creating 1 million jobs, but in 2001, they slashed the intake of state employees.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has clearly stated that he will create 1 million jobs over the next 5 years. This is not a bribe or a gamble. Either are these mere fair details. He will keep his word. How will 1 million jobs be created? How will minimum wage be increased to 25,000 rupees? Where is the money coming from? Are they bringing the money from their parents' houses? No, not a cent. The people will be pawned.
Elections in the past were carried out using state property. Today, the election law is strictly implemented. We cannot use a CTB bus if we do not pay for it first. Under our economic policy, we hope to strengthen the industries and good and services production that will meet the standards of the country. Now people are disgusted of Mahinda Rajapaksa than they were before. If we had stayed back at home accepting defeat, he would have been respected than this. But he cheated the SLTB. The buses full of people cannot be dispatched anymore. Therefore, the campaigning of everyone, including Mahinda Rajapaksa's, has collapsed. When good governance commenced, they said that the prices of 9 goods will be reduced, but did not mention what the goods were. You must understand the value of your vote. The candidates take your vote and escape.
This political power can do anything, change anything. So this is my first step, and this won't stop from there. And I will definitely fight against that. And I've been doing mainly workshops, anti-drug workshops for mainly children in Colonava area. So I think after getting to the parliament, because as a provincial councillor, we don't have much saying as provincial councillors, but if we get into parliament, we have more coverage and we can talk more. So I hope I can make a difference when I get into parliament. So let's see.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a media briefing today.
Former Minister Dilan Pereira made his entrance to their selfie meeting today with a pot in hand.
We are trying to demonstrate Ranil's water fraud symbolically with this pot. During the election period, it is the caretaker government that is in place. So if they are confident of victory, then why do they have to decide to bring this bill in to sell water under the caretaker government? Why? They will show this to their masters and conclude the work under the tenure of the caretaker government. But they have forgotten that we will abolish this as we come into power. We will not only abolish this bill under our government, but we will also protect the common right of water resources. It belongs to the state and not companies.
Minister P. Harrison responded to the allegations made by the alliance.
They are
attempting to confuse the masses by saying that taxes are being imposed on wells. They are trying to scare the public. The United National Party, together with the United National Front, will not allow taxes on wells. We will use the raw water machines to provide clean drinking water for the people in the North Central Province from rivers. If the people who bathe from the Kala tank are told that a tax will be imposed, it will be I who will let go of my seat.
Meeting in Colombo yesterday, UMP Colombo District candidate Rosie Sena Naika expressed the following views.
Sri Lanka hasn't moved anywhere since 1994, when the United National Party left and went into the opposition. Of course, we were back just for a very short span of time, 2 years, and I strongly believe in these 2 years, what we did to improve the economy and what we did to create the platform for the former president to fight the war was something that people do not acknowledge or recognize. I must give credit to Mr. Milinda Morogoda. He had a lot of support from the US for us. We need to talk about what we did. We need to take credit for the war. If you listen to Karunaman's interviews, whilst he was being the deputy chairman of the SLFP, whilst being a top cabinet minister of the past regime, he's given many interviews and he has said Mahinda Rajapaksa wouldn't have been able to win the war if not for Mr. Wickramasinghe's ceasefire agreement, because Karunaman was one of the deadliest, and he was one person who opposed the ceasefire agreement. He was one person who didn't want to go into the agreement because he knew that the LTT could be demoralized, de-strengthened and defeated. And that's exactly what happened.
The Think campaign, which was launched in order to motivate voters to exercise their franchise to elect clean and suitable persons for the legislature, took place in Mathura and Polonnaruwa today. The initiative is organised by Sirsa, Shakti and Newsfirst together with the Campaign for Free and Fair Election. The main aim of the campaign is to motivate the general public to elect the right persons to Parliament and not allow their vote to go to waste.
The campaign was launched in a bid to educate the public on how to exercise their franchise without risk it being rejected and the responsibility to elect suitable persons to Parliament. The group that commenced the Think campaign from the southern province reached Makadura this morning.
I will vote for a person who works for the people in an honest manner. People who have only passed the 8th grade have no understanding to govern the country or the people. We need intellectuals and we will vote for intellectuals.
While the public was educated through the distribution of handbills and stickers, the public signed the pledge to elect a clean parliament. The group that commenced the campaign from the southern province reached the Kamburupitiya and Kirinda areas today.
We want to elect good persons to Parliament.
Another phase of the campaign was worked off in the Polonnaruwa district with the participation of representatives from the Newsfirst and Cafe. The campaign took place in the Polonnaruwa town as well as in the Bakamuna and Diyabeduma areas.
We urge everyone to make this election one that will create a better country and society.
7th day of Think campaign concluded on a successful note here at the final stop, which is in the Polonnaruwa Kadruwala bus stop. Now, it concluded on a successful note in a sense there was much positive responses from the public today when we handed out leaflets as well as pasted stickers on vehicles in order to let the public know that their vote is a right. As strong a citizen, your vote is a right and it needs to be